At the dawn of the new century, Andrew Sarkis led a team of successful Wall Street brokers. Sarkis Futures was headquartered on the 78th floor of Lower Manhattan's ill-fated World Trade Center. And the more money that Andrew's team earned, well, the more invincible Andrew himself felt. And in those go-go, boom, tech, boom days, erratic behavior by arrogant Wall Street brokers wasn't only tolerated, but let's face it, to some extent it was celebrated, as long as it didn't interfere with the bottom line. Lately, however, Andrew's behavior had become more erratic than usual. When Andrew's lovely wife, Marla, failed to get pregnant and turned out to be barren, well, she grew more distant. She grew frigid. She no longer complained about his frequent business trips. She no longer noticed his absence, even. She barely acknowledged him when he was home. She seemed to Andrew almost narcotized. She only came alive when looking at fabric swatches. She enjoyed decorating their large house, redoing the kitchen, and then the bathrooms, and then adding a guest wing and a tennis court, and then when everything seemed perfect, and the contractors packed up their little pickup trucks, she hired a new architect and started the whole thing over again, this time in a Spanish mission style. It was an expensive hobby, but Andrew paid for everything. He was good at paying for things, and it kept her busy, and it kept her out of his way. Now Marla suspected that Andrew had a wandering eye, but nothing else, he was discreet. And it never came back to her from one of her vodka gossipy tennis friends at the country club. So Marla never pressed the issue. She preferred not knowing. She preferred not even thinking about sex. She preferred thinking about the new wallpaper in the guest room. It was going to be fabulous. And then, you know the date, September 11th, 2001. Well, Andrew took an earlier train than usual to Penn Station. He had an important breakfast meeting. And Marla awoke a little later than usual to the sound of a phone. It was 8:24, and it was her sister imploring her to switch on the news. Now Marla watched the grim events of that day, frantically switching channels, as if she couldn't believe any single network was telling her the truth. And then she couldn't even remember which tower exactly Andrew worked in. Was it Tower 1 or Tower 2, and how didn't she know that? And she searched the house looking frantically for something with Carrie Futures' address written on it. But then the second plane hit. Never mind. And she finally dialed Andrew's office line, even though he'd given her specific instructions during their marriage never to call him in the morning before the bell rung, unless it was an absolute emergency. This was his busy time. And this, however, seemed like the definition of emergency. No answer. Just a screaming electronic noise from the other end. And a horrible sense of foreboding came over her. Tears ran down her pretty cheeks as she dialed his super secret cell phone number. And it rang. And it rang. And it rang. Until, to her utter astonishment, she heard his familiar, casual, gravelly, irritated, "Hello? Oh my God! You're all right!" she screamed. "Of course I'm all right," he shot back. "I thought I told you to never call me before the bell is rung. It's 9:15, Marla. The market is opening in 15 minutes. It's my busy time." "But your office!" "My office is a place of work, Marla." "But your office! It's where I earn the money to buy the wallpaper for you to redecorate the guest room. I just ask one thing. I don't exist in the morning, okay? But your office! It's just been hit! By a fucking airplane, Andrew. You're not at your office. You know how I know that? Because if you were at your office, you would be on fire! Whoop. And Andrew, caught in a lie and completely bewildered, jumped out of bed, threw on a terry cloth Hilton hotel robe, the Millennium. He heard emergency vehicles outside and great wafts of black smoke like snot going past the window. And Robin, a blue-eyed half-Korean intern from the secretary pool, moaned for him to come back to bed. And he muttered something to Marla about coming home early and hung up. Click. And Robin said, "You better not come early." And he said, "Baby, you don't have to go to work today. You know what? The office is closed." "Awesome," she said.
It seems a shame to kiss the same old cheek and have a pace to sing the same old song. I'm so afraid to give you the slip. It only draws you right back to me. I'm going down without a sound. The tears are loud, look so proud. The bells are slow, the night is young. Maybe I'll stay here. Why don't I stay? Maybe I'll stay here. Why don't I stay tonight? Your shrewd disguise fooled me again. You're all I have, if I have a thing. Just knock again, and I'll let you in. I'm going down without a sound. The tears are loud, look so proud. The bells are strung, the night is young. Maybe I'll stay here. Why don't I stay? Maybe I'll stay here. Why don't I stay tonight? Bells are strung, the night is young. Maybe I'll stay here. tonight. The exact age of the universe is unknown. Time is relative. On that day was a new beginning for many New Yorkers, including Mr. Andrew Sarkis. The brain is comprised of a left and a right hemisphere, each containing its own frontal lobe. The frontal lobes are the seat of reason, of judgment, of planning, and of decision-making. It is the evolution of these structures that makes us human. Human behavior depends on billions of electrochemical collisions from the cells of the brain and especially from the frontal lobes. When human behavior turns odd, one must always wonder whether it is choice at work or the result of malfunction.
Well, Marla didn't bring up the affair with Robin the Temp. Seemed rude in the middle of all those funerals. And then there was the luncheons for the widows. And Marla was busy trying to finish the renovations on the guest room, and you could still smell it burning some days, you know, even out here in New Jersey. And Andrew, well, he was useless. He couldn't go to work because he didn't have an office, and he couldn't even rent a place because he had no staff to put into an office. Everybody was dead, except him. Oh, and then Giuliani told everyone they should go shopping. And Andrew, well, Andrew, he took this on as a patriotic duty. Every other day he drove off to Chelsea in his BMW to look at the galleries. And then he wanted Marla to come along for the openings on Friday And it seemed to her unsophisticated to get all bent out of shape about affairs, here in the middle of a sophisticated New York gallery. Marla didn't want to look like one of those provincial suburban housewives you read about, She'd majored in French at Radcliffe. Oh, and Andrew. He seemed so at home in the galleries, and he would wear his best suit, and then the dealers liked him. And when Andrew started buying things, well, the dealers really, really liked him. Because Andrew Sarkis would buy anything at all, anything that wasn't nailed down, as long as it had been made by an American. Now, it started with a small Jasper Johns lithograph of a target of all things. And then he bought a little Rauschenberg from about the same period, the Coenties slip, and then a Barnett Newman zip, and on and on and on. He would buy anything. Now, it wasn't until he started buying minimalist and conceptual art from the 70s that Marla became a little bit concerned. And one afternoon, she picked up an unframed painting of white paint on a white canvas with a white ground, and she said, Andrew, look, I don't want to sound like an idiot here, but what exactly is this supposed to be? The White House in a blizzard? What is this? So Robert Ryman, Marla, that painting you hold in your hands cost me $750,000. I wish you would be more careful with it. You paid what? For this? I saw God in that painting, Marla. Now, how are you going to look at me in New Jersey and put a price tag on God? Because God is in that painting. I could put a wing on a house for $750,000. Kneel down, woman. See God. Just look. As your husband, I'm asking you. Look into it and tell me what you see. But Marla didn't see God. No. She only saw the shadow of her own head cast across its white surface. You've got to see a doctor, Andrew. I think you've gone completely insane. Andrew snatched back the picture, knelt down on the floor. God is in this painting, Mom. And it breaks my heart that you can't see him here tonight. But I assure you, God is in this painting. He has to be. I paid so much for it. God is in this painting. God is in this painting. And she looked down at him. And she said, Andrew, I do believe you started praying to this painting. You've gone insane. I'm not the one screaming, Marla. I'm perfectly calm. But God is in this painting. I just want you to see a doctor. Is that so wrong? I'll see a doctor, Mom. If it makes you happy, the way this painting makes me happy tonight, I will see a million doctors. But seeing a doctor is not the same thing as seeing God. Still, I want you to see that doctor. I'm making a point. Fair enough. Leave me alone with God.
Andrew Sarkis, king of the markets in a hell of a town. Car and driver, holding the idol near the hole in the ground. Hunting harder, the balance of barter, sold by the pound. Bears and bulls, yeah, they never matter, just push 'em around. Like wartime martyrs, handguns, and a stone. People, they only love you when you're gone. Like wartime martyrs, handguns, and a stone. People, they only love you when you're gone. Mabel, setting the table for a casual affair. Wedding toast like fossils in roads, yeah, they lay on the ground. Candles burning, Andrew's yearning for a piece of the past. The family tree, it's losing its leaves, its extinction at last. Wartime martyrs, handguns, and a storm. People, they only love you when you're gone. Like wartime martyrs, handguns, and a storm. People, they only love you when you're gone. Hearing thoughts in their head, they knew Andrew was right. Arouse the neighbors, the gladiators in the dead of the night. Neighbors watching while Marla's sobbing, her hands in her hair. Cheers and high fives, holding the big prizes, arms in the air. Like wartime martyrs, handguns, and a stone. People, they only love you when you're gone. Wartime martyrs, handguns, and a stone. People, they only love you when you're gone. It is well known that lesions at the base of the frontal lobe, known as the orbitofrontal cortex, can result in hoarding behaviors or collecting behavior. These behaviors are similar to what's seen in lower animals, like rodents and dung beetles. There are many cases published in the world's medical literature of humans collecting out of control. Like the one man with one of these lesions who placed broken televisions all over his home to the exclusion of eating, of sleeping, of loving, and of living.
Dip check. When Andrew arrived home one day from Chelsea, he found a handsome stranger sitting at his kitchen table with Marla. She looked like a de Kooning woman, caught somewhere between a smile and a scream. Andrew and the stranger both moved towards her as she started to weep uncontrollably. "What's this all about?" Andrew asked. "Oh, she's had a terrible month," the stranger said. "No! You! Who are you? What are you doing here with my weeping wife in my kitchen?" Oh, it's not what you think. I'm Agent Gray of the FBI. This concerns the recent sale of 300 shares in a Curian preferred stock. Do you recall the transaction, Mr. Sarkis? Hey, wait. Now. Listen there, Mr. Buddy Guy. I liquidated that stock to buy a painting. Sir, that was almost $1 million in stock. Hey, it was a very expensive painting. The problem here is that you sold that stock exactly 3 days before the public announcement of a lawsuit between the partners in Accurian Limited. Today, that stock is practically worthless. "Lucky me," Andrew said. "I got out at the right time." 2 days before that, Sarkis, you met with the lawyer for one of the litigants. Donald Ferguson, Esquire, ring a bell? Yeah. Donnie from the 18th floor. Don't you people have terrorists to catch? Not my field, Sarkis. There's the matter of 3 paintings you gave to him. I didn't want those paintings. Listen. I collected those paintings a long time ago to show off. They were French. I don't even collect that kind of crap. I collect American minimalism. He sees God in those paintings, Marla wept from the corner. Well, God may be in the paintings, Mrs. Sarkis. Doesn't concern the FBI. We're more concerned here with the devil in the details. We think your husband paid Mr. Ferguson in fine art for inside information about his client. We think he paid him in fine art to avoid a cash trail. We think he thought he'd never get caught. Well, guess what? I caught ya. I sold that stock to buy art. Listen, I bought this, he said, pointing at the white Robert Ryman. What's that supposed to be, Agent Gray said. I paid about $750. I think it's a cool million by today. Funny. That's what $1 million looks like, Sarkis. It looks like nothing. It's an important American painting, Marla cried. Not everyone can see its beauty. But Andrew sees his beauty because he's sensitive. Well, I'm no art critic, Mrs. Sarkis, but any idiot can see that you're beautiful. Maybe Mr. Sensitive over here should have spent more time looking at you and less time trying to buy and sell God. I'm arresting your husband for insider trading. I don't have to put the cuffs on you, Sarkis. I sure would hate to embarrass you in front of your fancy neighbors, but I'm going to take you downtown now. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney, all right? Now, if you can't afford one, ha ha ha, one will be appointed for you. But make no mistake, Sarkis, you, sir,